Let's talk about making these pillows. This is one of my finished pillows here. It's great, right? It's a cute little saying from a school. It was about Wellness Week at IC School, where my kids went and where I used to work. So it makes a great little pillow. So we're going to make this pillow. One of the things that you can do is use a regular store-bought pillow form. You can use some pillows you have lying around the house. This one happens to be pretty lumpy and old. So you can take the stuffing out and restuff it into the pillow, or you can just use this pillow as it is if you're still happy with it. And if you make something that's a little tighter, it'll firm this pillow up and it'll give it new life. You can also just buy polyfill and stuff that in. They can be a little lumpy. You might want to stuff it and then kind of wrap it really tight, but those are all options. And if you have things lying around the house, the other thing about this is you can rotate these because these just slide out. So especially for a teenager's room, whatever happens to be the going trend, you can just change it out and stuff it, or you can throw it in the wash, take it off, throw it in the wash, which is great. So these pillowcases are wonderful for t-shirts that you haven't used or you're not going to wear anymore, or commemorating something. You know, when you're going to a concert, say this is a concert t-shirt, this makes a cute little decor item in your room. What a great little idea, right? So that would make a cute little pillow. And you can take a pillow and throw it on and see exactly how it's going to fit and how you like it. How about something for a man cave, right? Father's Day is coming up. Wouldn't this be fun for Father's Day? A little into his man cave, a little brewery type t-shirt, or his favorite burger joint or something like that. Here's a couple from college. How about a little college memorabilia t-shirt? Wouldn't this be fun in your dorm room? You know, you get millions of these, right? Or a high school memorabilia t-shirt. We always have so many t-shirts lying around, and this is a great way to recycle them and use them as decor. This happens to be, yes, we're from Boston. This happens to be my daughter's work shirt. She worked at the Fenway Park. She was on staff. And it's a cute little shirt. Now this V-neck could be a problem when you're cutting out the pillow, but this has a logo on the sleeve. So you could actually kind of like insert that in there and stitch it down, and that would make this piece bigger, right? But what a cute idea. Your favorite sports team, again, another idea for a man cave. You've got a number on the back. This happens to be Mr. Lucic's jersey from the Boston Bruins. This would make a great pillow for the sports fan. Father's Day, Christmas, these are terrific. Even Mother's Day, if you find something mom loves. Here's another one. This just says, "Let the adventure begin." So that's kind of fun. And we have so many of these in our closet, and I know that I know you do too. And then again, another memorabilia shirt. This is a senior's shirt from 2011 Field Day. It's got a cute little thing on the back. Are you ready to let the dogs out? Oh my goodness. So this is a great gift for, you know, that college senior that's graduating, high school senior that's graduating. These are fun gifts that you can make that mean something to someone. Just make sure you check with them before you cut up their t-shirt if that's not their favorite t-shirt. But yeah, we have so many of these lying around. We're going to talk about using a mat and a ruler and a little bit of a different technique, something that requires a little bit more math and some geometry. So the ruler is in gridded 1-inch squares. This is a monster ruler. You don't need one this big. You can find some that are fairly reasonably priced that are smaller, and I'll put some information about them in the notes. So I am using this gridded ruler to line up this hem. So this hem is finished, so that's going to make our job a lot easier on this one. So I've lined this up. That's jersey cotton. We do the best we can, right? It's a little rumply, but it's old. Line it up on one of the straight lines going this way. Then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to line it up on one of the lines going this way. That gives me a nice square cut. Now, using this is very dangerous, so I wouldn't suggest that your children that don't have a good handle on things that are sharp, use this, because this blade is very, very sharp. Make sure you close it up. Make sure it's open. Make sure you close it up, but it's very, very sharp. All right. Now I want to, so we're going to square this end off also. So again, I have it lined up against one of my lines that way, and I'm going to put the ruler down and check the lines on both ends going this way, and then cut with my rotary cutter. Okay, I missed that spot there. There we go, that's a better cut. All right, so now I have my piece, and this is going to be for a 16-inch pillow, so I'm going to make it 16 inches because making it a little bit smaller than the pillow size will make it stretch a little and it'll have a better fit. So I want to fold this so it's right in the middle, fold it down the center, and I want this, if it's going to be 16 inches wide this way, I want it to be 8 inches, right? So I make sure this end is as even as I can get it. And I want it to be 8 inches wide. That will, when I open it up, because it's on the fold, make sure you cut the raw edge. So I'm going to count these squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's my 8-inch line right there, and I'm going to make it nice and straight. And what this will do is it will center the design because we folded it in the middle. There's a lot here. Oh, it went all the way through. Look at that. Perfect. So now I have my panels. I have 2 panels, and it's 16 inches wide, so, and my logo is centered perfectly inside that. Now what I want to do with this one is I want to make a fold in the back without having a seam. So we're only going to do side seams on this, which will make it so much easier. But I also want to make the back a little bit longer than the front, and I can do that because I have this higher neckline. So I'm going to open this up this time. And I'm going to cut, I'm going to line the side pieces up as straight as I can get them. And I'm going to cut this neckline off here, up about as high as I can go. I'm going to line up my ruler, make sure everything is square as it can be for an old jersey t-shirt. And I'm going to cut that piece off. All right, so there's piece 1. I'm also going to do the same thing for the back neckline, but since the neckline is higher, this back piece will actually be a little longer. So I'm going to situate it all. I don't want the tag in there. Move the tag up. There we go. And I'm going to get this ruler up as high as I can where the neckline is, and that will give me this longer piece for the back. There we go. All right, now remember, like I said, these are already finished on this end, so we want to keep that in mind. We don't want to be sewing those ends together. And when we stitch, we want to make sure we sew the right sides together. So this is the right side. This is the side that faces out. And then also this is the right side. So we're going to fold this way. All right. And we're going to stitch this together at the top. So we have one big long piece. So I'm going to go do that now. Okay, we have stitched the top, the front and the back together at the top. So I have this big long piece. Now I'm making a 16-inch square pillow. So I want this eventually to be around 15 inches square after it's sewn. So I just used a 1/2-inch seam allowance, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. 1/2-inch seam allowance on each end will get me to where I want to go. All right, so we are going to lay our t-shirt right side down, which means that the design is facing the mat. And we're going to line it up as square as we can for an old t-shirt. This has a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and we want our finished pillow to be about 15 inches because it will be tighter over that 16-inch form. And this is jersey, it's going to stretch, so it'll give us a much neater look. So I'm going to lay this so the edge, I'm going to slide this down a couple more blocks here. So the edge of my cut fabric, which includes the seam allowance, is on one mark. And I'm going to measure down 16 inches. Right? So this is the size of my pillow from the top of my edge to 16 inches. Now we want that to be 15 finished, right? So I'm going to slide that down to 15, right? So from my seam line to where I want my edge finished is going to be 15 inches. And I'm going to fold this, whatever's left, however much there is, I'm going to fold this back, because this is going to be part of my side seam. I'm going to put a couple of pins in there. You can stretch it a little bit to make it fit. All right, so you got that? So from the bottom edge here, and I'm not going to sew this. This is all folded, and this is finished, so I don't have to sew that. I'm just going to sew this side seam. From the bottom edge to where my seam is 15 inches on both sides. Perfect. All right. Now, on the back side, we also want this 15 inches. There's going to be a much bigger fold here because we made this longer because we cut it higher up on the neck. All right. So we're going to start again from the seam line to the edge of our finished pillow cover is going to be 15 inches. So I have the 15-inch mark at the seam line, and I'm going to fold this back. Pull out all those little rolly side seams. Pins are great, right? So this is 15 inches here. I'm going to check this side to make sure I eyeballed it right, and I did a pretty good job. It needs to be a little bit longer. That looks like 15. So I'm going to pin this fold up to the side. So essentially, we have wrong sides folded together here, right? This is the inside, because what's going to happen, we're going to stitch these just to hold them in place, and then we're going to stitch to make our pillow. And our pillow is going to slide inside here. So let's go and stitch these where we've pinned them, just along these folded edges here. So there's 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so where we had pinned, we sewed them up. I sewed them using 1/4 inch. And you know, you try to get your edges, the both sides even, right? And a nice straight stitching line. That will help your sewing. The other thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you clip all of your threads, because they will get in the way of your machine and they'll make your pillow look messy. So you want to make sure that you clip your threads down. All right. Now we have our little pillow pockets here that are going to help close up the pillow. We're going to flip this. All right, so now we have flipped it over and we're looking at the right side. This is the seam allowance. That's going to be the top of our pillow. So we're going to fold the right sides together, and we're going to line up these side seams where we had done this fold. Where this is folded here at the end, we're going to leave that open. So we're just going to stitch this side seam and this side seam. So the thing about jersey is that it's rolly, but it's also stretchy, so that works in our favor. So start pinning from the top here where it's stitched. And this is why we stitch those folded pieces down, because now it's much easier. They're like one piece. And we want these bottom pieces to come as close together as possible, right? So that's why we pin. It'll make it a little easier when we go to the sewing machine, that this won't be flopping all around. And we're going to pin this side too. Start again at the top seam and pin down. So we have our pretty part on the inside. My edges meet at the bottom, and it's nice and flat for sewing. So I'm going to go back and sew both of these seams. All right, we are back. Again, make sure you clip off all of these seams. Clip off all of these threads. You don't want threads floating around, it makes it look messy. And do yourself a favor, when you get down here to this part where the opening is, just back up your machine a little bit. Take, stitch almost to the edge but not off, and then back up about 3 or 4 stitches, and then you can stitch off. And then that way, as you're moving it around, it won't come undone. All right, so I have my little case here. I'm going to turn it inside right. Take my pins off because they'll get in the way. And we're going to look at these corners again, right? So we have a really nice corner. We're going to fold one side down on the seam allowance. We're going to fold the other side down on the seam allowance. And look at how pretty that square is. We're going to stick our thumb inside, and we're going to pinch that fold between our thumb and our finger, and then just turn it. And you end up with the most beautiful square ever. Right? So again, we'll do that on this side. Go up to the top where our seam is, fold one seam down, doesn't matter which one you fold first. Fold the other seam down. Get your thumb inside there, really good, right? And then turn it. So now I have this cute little pillow cover from my old school with a great little saying on it that will work well in my decor. So I'm going to take my 16-inch pillow form, tuck it inside. You can fluff the corners here so they look nice and pretty. Remember, we made this a little small so the pillow would fill the whole form. And then this front part, where I have this folded in, I'm going to just stuff the pillow inside that. And what happens is that extra piece that we had folds in around the back, and then the back flap covers it. So you don't need anything to close it because the pillow is going to stay inside. And with a little fluffing, you have a great memory.